स्वागत है त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी के यूट्यूब चैनल पे और आप हमें सुन रहे हैं त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी रांची ब्रांच से। जी हाँ एस्पिरेंट्स, ये चेहरा अब आपके लिए नया नहीं है। ब्रिगेडियर अमर नारायण सर, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ सर्विसेज सिलेक्शन बोर्ड 19 SSB, एक बार फिर से सर स्वागत है आप ही के एरिया में, आप ही के ब्रांच में, आप ही के स्टूडियो में।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू
सर। लास्ट टाइम हमने वीडियो स्टार्ट की थी आपसे और हम लोग अपने एस्पिरेंट्स को, अपने व्यूअर्स को इनसाइट्स दे रहे थे कि कैसे पर्सनल इंटरव्यू में PIQ फॉर्म कैसे भरा जाता है। आज इसी सिलसिले को आगे बढ़ाते हैं।
ठीक है।
PIQ फॉर्म भर लिया, अब PIQ फॉर्म आपके पास आ गया, अब आपने इंटरव्यू की प्रोसेस चालू की।
ठीक है।
तो पहला सवाल मेरा ये है कि एक इंटरव्यू आमतौर पे कितनी देर का होता है?
Viewers, I must tell you, the interview normally happens for about 40 to 45 minutes.
अच्छा।
But it is not that we have to finish in 40 to 45 minutes.
अच्छा।
If we feel that we need to ask more questions to get the personality of the individual correctly, then it may extend to 50, 55, even 1 hour.
अच्छा।
And sometime very rarely it may even finish in about half an hour.
Okay.
But the standard time is about 40 to 45 minutes.
ठीक है। सर, जैसे जैसे कैंडिडेट्स SSB बोर्ड्स जाते हैं वैसे वैसे अपने तजुर्बे डालते हैं और उस बेसिस पे रियलिटी और मिथ साथ साथ बनती है। और हमारे देश में कुछ ऐसा है कि मिथ ज्यादा फैलती है, रियलिटी बड़ी कम होती है।
Especially since the social media has come.
सही बात।
So many myths about SSB, you know.
बहुत है। सर, एक मिथ ऐसा है, अब मैं, क्योंकि आप प्रेसिडेंट साहब हैं, आप ब्रिगेडियर साहब हैं, आप ज्यादा अच्छा बताएंगे। जितना लंबा इंटरव्यू उतना अच्छा, उतने चांसेस ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन ज्यादा है, कुछ ऐसा है सर?
It is a typical myth. Myth means it is not correct. I told you that the standard interview is 40 to 45 minutes. And normally that is good enough time for us as an interviewing officer to assess the personality of the individual in a very holistic manner. But I said at times we may have to ask more questions if you have some doubt regarding some part of the personality. You may have known that there are 15 qualities under which the assessors assess a candidate. That is open secret, is given in
officer like qualities.
SSB में दिया हुआ है। So if we have some queries in one or two of them, then we may have to ask some additional questions. So the interview, as I said, may extend to beyond 45 minutes. But as you said, the myth is definitely a myth. If it is 1 hour, it does not mean that candidate is doing extremely well, so he is taken 1 hour. It may happen that after 60 minutes, some negative quality has got very clearly confirmed that he will not pass.
अच्छा, तो वो नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है। It entirely depends on the interview.
So time has got nothing to do with the quality of the interview.
अच्छा, सर इसी को लेकर के एक सवाल और, दो कैंडिडेट्स हैं, एक इंटरव्यू हो रहा है प्रेसिडेंट साहब, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ सर्विसेज सिलेक्शन बोर्ड, जो जनरली ब्रिगेडियर रैंक के हो रहे हैं, और दूसरा इंटरव्यू है जो एसोसिएट इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर या यूं कह लें डिप्टी प्रेसिडेंट साहब जो कर्नल रैंक के हैं, जैसे इलाहाबाद में कर्नल पंकज मल्होत्रा। एक कैंडिडेट उनके रूम में गए इंटरव्यू लेने, एक कैंडिडेट ब्रिगेडियर अमर नारायण सर के पास, और बाय चांस आपका वाला कैंडिडेट रिकमेंडेड हो गया। तो मेरे लिए, आपके लिए एक सवाल है मेरे से कि क्या ऐसा है कि जो प्रेसिडेंट इंटरव्यू लेगा वो रिकमेंड करेगा ही करेगा?
Again, I don't know from where this myth has come. Absolutely no. Because see, all the interviewing officers who are posted in any of the SSBs, they all go through the same training process. And we all are seeking the personality details under those 15 qualities from that candidate. So we are seeing if that candidate is fit enough to be recommended so that he can become an officer. So whether it is a brigadier or a colonel or someone who is come from outside and attached for a time being, all of us, please take it, my friends, they are all unbiased. Rank has got no difference. All of us are equally well trained, and a good candidate, whether it goes to a brigadier or a colonel, will always get recommended, or not so good candidate will not get recommended.
अच्छा, तो ये दोनों बातें मिथ हो। अब सर मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि अब बॉल शुड बी इन योर कोर्ट, और आप ही हमें बताएं कि आखिर इंटरव्यू कैसे कंडक्ट होता है।
Okay, I think it's a very important subject that we are discussing today. Interview is a very important aspect of the SSB. As you are aware, the marks of this 1 hour of interview or 45 minutes of interview is same as what the candidate will get in their entire day or 4 days, 4 tests of the psychology, 225 marks. And it is the same marks which a candidate will get over 2 days of testing in GTU.
का भी 225 नंबर.
So तीनों का number बराबर है. So you know that the interview of that 45 minutes or whatever time it takes is really very important. So I think candidates should know how to prepare for the interview. Now it so happens that the interview we try to, as I said, take out the all the 15 qualities of that candidate. Okay. So very holistic interview takes place. We will ask questions about the academic background, about the family background of the candidate, about his hobbies and interests. So all these questions will be asked. So the first thing I like to tell you is that we talked about the PIQ. So ensure that you remember what you have filled in the PIQ. It should not happen that there is a difference between discrepancy between what you write in the PIQ and then what you speak in the interview. For example, in PIQ you have not mentioned any sport. And in the interview when he asks, okay, tell me about your sport which you have played, you say I play cricket and badminton. So there is a conflict. So your PIQ and your interview information should be matching. That is one important issue. Now how the interview will happen is that the candidate will enter the office of the interviewing officer. He will lock the door. He will be asked to come inside and he will sit on a chair. Initially, the interviewing officer will ensure that he is made comfortable and all by asking very simple questions. Now, the main interview will start normally with the questions on his academic profile. So, he will ask questions on his marks that he got from various exams, say 10th, 12th and beyond. If he is a graduate entry, then up to that standard. He may ask about the subjects which he liked, any subject he did not like. He will talk about the teachers. He will ask any teacher that you especially like. Any teacher you did not like, so you must tell the reason why you did not like. He may ask about your friends in the school and college. Who is your best friend? How many friends you had? If there was the issue with a friend, you didn't like a friend, then why? Isn't it? Then he may ask about your participation in games or sports in school and college. So talk about that. If you have participated, you must inform the interviewing officer. If you have excelled in something, again talk about that. And then he may also ask you about your participation in co-curricular activities, debating, anything else and all. So if you have done all these things, you must answer. And then he also may like to ask about your career options. So like you have come to the SSB, it is clear that you want to join the defense forces, so that should be definitely your career options. But also have a backup option. If he asks you, okay, if you do not clear the SSB, what is your backup option? So have that answer of this question prepared. So this is the way normally the first portion of the interview will happen. He may ask of course follow-up questions on these depending on your questions. Okay. Then the next portion he may ask you about your family. So he will try to query about your close family members like your parents, your brothers and sisters. He will like to know your relationship with the family members who you are very close to. Who do you approach in case you want to share some details, especially some emotional details. He may also query you about your friends in your neighborhood, which may be different from the friends in the school and college. At times he may even ask you about the routine. How do you go about your daily routine? What time you get up? What do you want to do in a day? Now he is trying to ascertain. Are you a person who is able to plan your day? Or are you a person who just goes by what comes in front of you? If you are a person who plans your day, you do some physical activity to keep yourself fit. You take out some time to study. You take out some time to help your family members. You will come out with a good candidate. And then in the third portion, he may like to ask you about your hobbies, your interests. Any books you like to read. How do you use internet? Today all of us have got mobiles in our internet. So he will like to query you. Do you waste too much of time on social media? How do you use social media? He may also like to ask you as to how do you get to know what is happening in the world. Now this is one aspect which I normally found was a weak area. People nowadays don't read newspapers, so they are hardly aware. You may be aware at the surface, but when queried, say in the interview I did of Sakshi, you will see in that YouTube video that she was not able to answer otherwise she was a very good candidate. But the answer to these questions on, say, Hamas and Israel conflict, answer to a normal question like what states are having elections was not known to her. I must tell you, this is very common issue. 90% of candidates are found weak in this. So my advice to you friends is that do read a lot. Do take out some time every day. Do read newspaper, and I would suggest most children nowadays only bank on the YouTube. Now YouTube may not be the best source of information. Please see YouTube, but do read a good newspaper like Times of India or Hindu. Make your notes on various issues, and so you'll be able to answer the questions which are put to you. The interviewing officer may also ask you about your knowledge of the defense forces, because see, you want to join a service. So he will like to know that you have you done some homework on that? You at least have some knowledge about the chiefs of that army, air force, whatever branch you want to join, or say about the current issues of the defense are Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense, or say chief of defense staff, or some new weapons which are being inducted. So candidates do read about this. This will come in very handy to you, and then definitely will ask you to introspect about yourself. In the sense, we ask you, please tell me, in your view, what are your 2 or 3 strengths in your personality? What are your 2 and 3 weaknesses in your personality which you think you need to improve? So again, this is a thing which you can prepare in advance, and you can answer it correctly. So that's how the interview will happen, and in the end, few tips I think I would like to give you, which you must keep in mind. First, it's a very formal interview, so ensure that you are dressed well. Nowadays most people don't shave at all, but do shave, do put on a formal dress for either for boys or girls. For boys, say dark colored pants or shirt. If it is winter, then have a tie and a coat. So be properly dressed. And second advice I'll give you that listen to the interviewing officer deliberately. I have seen this one issue with many candidates. If you know the answer to a question, you are so eager to answer that you don't even let him finish. And then what happens, then he may be trying to answer something, ask something else, and you in your hurry are asking something else. If it happens too many times, then he will definitely not, like it, though he may not say so, but he will get annoyed. So wait for him to ask the question, listen to him, and then answer the question. So that is the another tip. Third tip I like to give you: be extremely honest. Never try to brag. Never try to say something, lie. Like suppose you want to do mountaineering, but you have not done it. किया कभी नहीं है. But if when he asks what is your interest, you say I do mountaineering. Now please understand, the interviewing officers are very experienced officers. Your lie will be caught within seconds, and that will be a disaster for your interview. So what you have actually achieved, what you have actually done, that is what you should mention. Never say anything which is incorrect. Okay. So these are a few tips which I wanted to give, and of course, as I said, try to read about the defense forces and about the what is happening in the world and in India, which is the major weaknesses I see. If you follow the tips which I have said, I am very sure you all will do very well, and all of you will pass the SSB.
सर बहुत ही बढ़िया ऑप्टिमिस्टिक आदमी है आपने आखिर में इतना बढ़िया बोला ऑल ऑफ यू विल पास दिस एंड आई एम श्योर
but we see I must tell you there is this negative perception which you are mentioning. Sir, Allahabad is a rejection board. I must tell you, we are wanting to fill our vacancies. As a officer who is posted as a president in a board or any other officer, we are mandated to fill the vacancies. It does not cause us, give us any immense pleasure when the vacancies of, short service are going away or our ACC are going half-filled. So, any person who we found to be, just good enough to become an officer, will pull him and will make him an officer. So, it is definitely not a rejection board. We want to select people and make all of you as officers. So, I am very sure all of you will pass.
चलिए सर. सर, कल आपने मेरे से लास्ट वीडियो में बात की थी कि अब आप झारखंड की मिट्टी में अब आप रांची को कमीशन ऑफिसर्स दोगे, सिर्फ रांची को नहीं पूरे झारखंड को, पूरे भारत को. और अब आप अपनी सर्विसेज त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी रांची में दे रहे हैं। कोई कैंडिडेट अगर सिर्फ इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट करना चाहता है, इससे बहुत सारे रिपीटर कैंडिडेट्स हैं और वो तवज्जो देते हैं कि 225 मार्क्स सिर्फ 1 घंटे के इंटरव्यू के लिए, तो दे डू नॉट वांट टू डू कंप्लीट एसएसबी कोचिंग, दे वांट ओनली द इंटरव्यू सेशन। तो क्या ये पॉसिबल होगा?
Yes, very much possible.
जी.
And see, I am here, as you said, to help the candidates who want to become, defense forces officers.
जी.
So I understand some children, some candidates may have some issue. They may not get the time. कोई जॉब कर रहा होगा या कोई और इश्यू होगी. He may not get entire 14 days to come to a defense academy like us.
जी.
So perhaps he just has got 1 or 2 days. I am quite willing to help them. तो
ऑफलाइन ऑनलाइन दोनों करेंगे?
दोनों हम करेंगे, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। मैं तो बैठा हूँ कि जो कैंडिडेट है उसको बहुत मैं मदद करूँ और वो अफसर बने। तो अगर ऑफलाइन करना है या ऑनलाइन करना है इंटरव्यू, आप मुझसे संपर्क कीजिए। दोनों के लिए मैं 2 सेशन करूंगा, क्योंकि एक सेशन में मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि इंटरव्यू में करना क्या है, तैयारी कैसे करना है। ठीक से आपको 1 घंटे की मैं एक सेशन बताऊंगा और फिर एक और सेशन 1 घंटे की लूंगा, जिसमें मैं आपकी इंटरव्यू करूंगा प्रैक्टिकल, और फिर इंटरव्यू करने के बाद आपकी जो कमियां हैं वो आपको बताऊंगा।
दोनों ऑफलाइन ऑनलाइन
दोनों हो जाएगा,
इसी में भी
दोनों में 2 सेशन करूंगा जी, एंड दैट्स हाउ वी विल कंडक्ट इट।
यानी कि एस्पिरेंट्स अगर आप सिर्फ पर्सनल इंटरव्यू की भी कोचिंग ढूंढ रहे हैं तो आप त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी रांची ब्रांच आके ऑफलाइन सेशंस अटेंड कर सकते हैं, या घर बैठे, आजकल ऑनलाइन का जमाना है, घर बैठे ऑनलाइन सेशंस भी अटेंड कर सकते हैं। एस्पिरेंट्स 19 एसएसबी बोर्ड इलाहाबाद के प्रेसिडेंट ब्रिगेडियर अमर नारायण सर को आपने सुना कैसे उन्होंने बताया हाउ इंटरव्यू इज एक्चुअली कंडक्टेड इन एसएसबी बोर्ड्स। सारे मिथ्स को तोड़ते हुए इस वीडियो को अंत तक जरूर देखिएगा। सुनने के लिए थैंक यू, एंड दोस्तों तक ये वीडियो जरूर पहुंचाइएगा। नीचे लिखे हुए व्हाट्सएप नंबर पे अगर आप पर्सनल इंटरव्यू के सेशंस चाहते हैं या ब्रिगेडियर साहब तक कोई सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं तो नीचे लिखे हुए व्हाट्सएप नंबर पे जरूर व्हाट्सएप करें। थैंक यू। जय हिंद सर। जय हिंद।
जहां बनते हैं देश के गौरव, इंडिया का एकमात्र ऐसा कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट जहां कैडेट्स को ट्रेन किया जाता है आने वाले डिफेंस एग्जाम के अनुसार। अगर आपका भी सपना है भारतीय सेना में शामिल होकर देश की सेवा करने का, तो आज ही ज्वाइन करें त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी।